Hey, what's up guys, Evan here, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'll be ranking every single movie I've seen that came out in 2023 thus far. This is covering every movie that released this year from January to June 2023. So if you haven't already, check out my letterbox. My full reviews for these movies are there. And if you guys want me to do a part 2 with all the movies from July to December 2023, with as well also including these again, let me know in the comments. I'll gladly do a part 2 as well, as long as you guys want it and as long as this video does well. Anyways guys, make sure to subscribe and let's get started with this ranking. Firstly, this is how I watched every movie this year. So this is the first movie I've watched. This is the latest movie I watched. And I'm just going to be ranking them by stars, what I gave them on Letterboxd, and just explaining why they rank there. Firstly, we have a Ghost. This movie, I don't remember much. I literally forgot what happened in this movie after like 5 minutes. And I'm pretty sure I gave it like a 2.5 stars. So it's going to be there. This summer, I want to rewatch this movie. But we have a Ghost right now. It's around 2.5 stars. Scream 6 was the first movie I saw in theaters this year. When I rewatched it in May, I gave it 4 stars. It's a good Scream movie. It's actually my second favorite. It's a good Scream movie. I think it suffers from some things. Like, I like the ghost faces in this movie better than the Scream 5. And the officer, I think, is easily one of the best surprises out of all the Scream 6 ghost faces. I think one problem is that they're so scared to kill off someone from the main 4 core group, or whatever it is, because Jenna Ortega's character, her like crush or boyfriend in it, got stabbed like 20 times and somehow he still survived that. You know, they're scared to kill off a character. I respect them trying to keep Gail in there because I know Gail got stabbed. She got a really good stab wound. I respect them, you know, not killing her off. I don't see them killing her off then in a Scream sequel because that would make no sense to me. They would have just done it in this one. I respect them keeping her around. And one thing I really do like is that it's a New York City setting. It's a different setting that we've seen in the movies. One of my favorite scenes was, of course, the shotgun scene. I love the shotgun scene. That was easily like my favorite scene from this movie. And the final battle when Sam puts on her dad's, you know, Billy Loomis's mask, that was just an amazing scene as well. That was like 2 of my favorite scenes from this movie. I just loved it. And Scream 6, it's a 4.5 movie. Murder Mystery 2 is also going to be 2 and 2.5. I'm going to rank it higher than We Have a Ghost because I don't remember We Have a Ghost that well. This movie had like a lot of humor that was just a miss for me. This movie was just not it for me. I should have rewatched the original because I had watched it a long time ago. I haven't watched it in a while. It just sucked. I didn't really like it. Okay, maybe I should probably rank it lower than We Have a Ghost, but for me, this movie just wasn't really that good. Then you have the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Some people might think I'm overrating it a bit, but I'm gonna rank it in the 4.5 star category. I gave it a 9 out of 10, and originally I had it 5 stars. I think I gave it 4.5. I am gonna rewatch it in July though. But for Mario, for me, it was good. The animation was a top notch. It was just like, it was an amazing movie for me. It was nice getting into the Mario world. I wish we kind of explored it more. I wish the movie wasn't, you know, so quick. And I'm pretty sure they did confirm, or it's rumored right now, that they're gonna do a Zelda movie. If that's the case, they might have their own Nintendo cinematic universe or whatever, which is cool. Mario is for the 4 to 4.5 category. And for the first 5-star movie, Jesus Revolution easily takes it for me. I watched this movie for the first time back in April and I loved it. This is one of the only movies I've seen in my lifetime that I actually, you know, like cried to. I cried during some of the scenes. It was just an amazing movie to watch. I know some people are kind of like mixed about it. They think it's kind of like an average mid film. For me, I think it's a 5 out of 5 star film. Currently, right now, this is one of my favorite films of all time. Maybe my favorite. I don't know. I love this movie. It's very amazing. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It just really made me see the world how it is today because it kind of shows that, you know, we need a revolution in our lifetime. In our time right now, we kind of need another revolution. It really made me want to get closer to God again, and I really appreciate that movie for doing that because I haven't, you know, been super close to him. Jesus Revolution, I think it was just an amazing movie to watch, and it's a 5 out of 5 star movie for me. Then you have 65. 65 is another one of those, you know, 2.5 star movies. 65 for me, it gave me Beast vibes. If you remember last year, they came out with a movie called Beast. It was a 2022 movie with a lion. This movie gave me those kind of vibes. I liked it better than Beast, but I still think it suffered. I think the plot for me was interesting. It kind of confused me for a bit. And it's an odd move to make, you know, 2 of the main characters and really the only characters in the movie that speak different languages. You don't really get to know the girl well, so you don't really have much sympathy for her. You kind of know Adam Driver's character, so you kind of like his character a bit. I feel like the dinosaurs look odd in this movie. I think they might have went for like a creative choice. For me, it just looked odd. I didn't really think the CGI worked for me. The pacing in this movie, it kind of moves super fast at times, and it's like you can't really keep up with it. It's like you kind of want to explore the world or Earth how it was 65 million years ago, but we don't really get that. And I think another thing was the ending. I kind of wish we kind of saw what happened with both Adam Driver and the girl. 65 2.5 for me is a 2.5. And now we're gonna move on to probably the worst movie I've seen of all time. I ended up watching this literally the same night afterwards at 2 a.m. It was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Half a star. It was terrible. Who let Bro cook? But a nice transition from the worst movie I've seen of all time to one of the best. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is a 5-star movie. The arcs, the development that all these characters go on, it's emotional. Spoilers ahead. Although none of the characters die, it's still emotional. And I really like the turn that they make there, that none of the characters die in this movie. They already set it up to be an emotional movie. There's no reason to make it even more emotional. You know, this movie was already emotional enough with Rocket and his backstory. High Evolutionary, right now, currently, is a better villain than Kang. I love Kang. I love Jonathan Majors' character. But I think after watching Guardians 3 and Ant-Man 3, I think they did High Evolutionary right. But for me, Guardians 3 is a 5-star movie. The only issue I had with this movie is Gamora's character. I don't really like how her character is treated. It seemed like she had a lot of fun working with them. The one takeaway scene was one of the best action scenes that's in the MCU. But one thing I didn't like about Gamora's character is that she got the final kill against High Evolutionary. But yeah, when everybody was hugging at the end, it's like she just stepped away. She didn't join in on them. And that's something for me I didn't like. I didn't like that move. I know it's such a small issue, and it's such a small issue, but it's something I didn't enjoy. Like, Gamora got all this time with them. She even got the final blow against High Evolutionary for some reason. But yet, she couldn't just go in and just hug them. I don't know. That's the one problem I have with this movie. Again, this movie's a 5-star movie. I think it's amazing. And you go from Guardians to Ant-Man. I know Ant-Man released in February. I watched a really bad HD quality of Ant-Man back in February. I rewatched it back in May when it released on Disney+. And Ant-Man for me is 2.5-star movie. I think I rated it 3.5 first originally. And then I watched it again and I rated it 2.5. Yeah, I don't know what I was on when I rated it 3.5 stars. I think Kang was awesome. I liked Kang in this movie, but the way they did MODOK, they just did him dirty throughout the entire film. From design to personality, he's so cringy in this movie. And then the way that Cassie turns him to the good side, to a quote-unquote Avenger. It was bad. It was just bad. I don't like MODOK. They did him dirty. It was terrible. I hope they don't bring him back. If they bring him back, they better do a good design. They better bring him back a good actor for it. The acting was terrible in this movie. I mean, no character died in this movie either. Like, all the Avengers that got their own trilogy so far had someone die and that was important in their third movie, except this one. And it's like, I don't even know if there's a proper direction for Ant-Man's trilogy. He definitely has the worst trilogy in the MCU by far. The cinematography, CGI was rushed and everything like that. It wasn't good. Was it an okay start to Phase 5? It could have been better. I think Ant-Man Quantumania could have been a better movie, and it ranks in the 2.5 star area. Then you have Dungeons and Dragons. This is going to be the 4.5 category. It's going to be the end, though, with an 8.5 out of 10. Dungeons and Dragons was a very, very fun movie. I enjoyed this movie throughout. It's a fun story. Every single humor part of this movie was all a hit. There's no miss. It was all a hit. It was just a really good, funny movie throughout. I do think, the CGI cinematography was kind of mediocre in this movie. It wasn't really that good, but honestly, the characters were enjoyable. The story was fun. It was such a fun story to go on, and I'll give it that. Then you have Across the Spider-Verse. I think this movie is just 1 point away from 5 stars. I think it's gonna be 4.5 stars. I could honestly rank it up to 5 stars. I mean, I think I'm gonna rewatch it later this year eventually. I think this movie was a lot of fun. For the movie, for me, I think it's gonna be a 4.5. I think Into the Spider-Verse was a better movie. I know Letterboxd, this is the highest rated Letterboxd movie, and again, I don't blame it. I love this movie all the way around. I think at the beginning parts, they showed a lot more Gwen than Miles. Like 20 minutes into the movie, we finally get to see Miles for the first time after exploring Gwen's universe, which I don't know why we had to explore that right at the beginning. I have no clue how they're gonna do a Gwen Stacy spinoff now, because they showed off her universe. Like, I know they wanted to do a Gwen Stacy spinoff. I think this movie just goes on for a little too long. The 2 hours 20-minute mark, I think that goes on for a little too long in my opinion. I will say this movie had some really good moments, had some funny moments. Humor was definitely hit throughout it, but I think they kind of just threw in some more forced humor in there where it kind of felt like MCU stuff. Cameos are good. This movie had a lot of good funny moments. Eventually this year I will rewatch it. Then you have Transformers Rise of the Beast. We're getting into the first 3.5 star movie. This is going to be 3.5 right here. For me, this is a top 2 Transformers movie easily. I think Bumblebee is a little better than this movie. This movie was so much fun to watch. I'm happy they didn't pull like a Michael Bay with the humor or with the plot and story. I'm happy that it was simple and it wasn't complicated, but to me this movie was really fun. The Flash, I'm giving it the same 3.5-star rating. I think it's a tad better than Transformers. This was my second most anticipated movie of 2023, and I remember James Gunn and all these people are saying they loved it. The best comic book movie, one of the best is The Dark Knight. They are so wrong with that. How can you say that this is one of the best comic book movies of all time? What, because Michael Keaton's in it? Michael Keaton, you know, Sasha Calle, Supergirl, Ben Affleck, they carry this movie a ton. Now, you can't just walk into this movie, you know, judging it right away because the main protagonist is Reverse Flash in real life. Like, you can't judge this movie like that. Again, the cinematography, CGI, just like Rise of the Beast, could be off at times. I think this was a little worse, though. And this is a higher budget. I don't know how it's worse, but I think the humor in this movie was definitely hit or miss. It was just like MCU humor. There's so much forced humor in there. For me, most of the humor was a miss. And the second Ezra Miller, I think he does a good job portraying two Ezra Millers, but I kind of found the second one a little annoying. Michael Keaton and Supergirl suits are obviously 10 out of 10. You know, Sasha Calle Supergirl, man, that was just, oh my goodness, man, that was amazing. And I better see Sasha Calle Supergirl in the new DCU. Flash and Transformers Rise of the Beast, I think I both gave them a 7.5 out of 10. I liked Flash a little bit better. They're both 3.5. Another movie that's 3.5 for me is Extraction 2 with a 7.4 out of 10. One thing this movie did right compared to its prequel with Extraction 1 was the antagonist for me. The antagonist in this movie we see way more often. You can kind of understand his motive, why he's going after Tyler. I think the action was equal for me. I think some of the kills that Tyler does with like the squat rack kill, the prison scene, like that was awesome. One main thing I didn't like about this movie, which I think lowers it, is the fact that they make 0 references to the first movie, and that sucks because they built a good chemistry with Tyler and Ovi in the first movie. We don't see Ovi in this movie. We don't get a single reference to Ovi. I think if we saw Ovi again, I think this movie would be higher. I think this movie would be up here. The last 2 films to rank here are both Cocaine Bear and Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny. Cocaine Bear to me is at the top of the 2.5. It's also 2.5 stars, just like all of these. And Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny is at the bottom of the 3.5 star category as 3 stars. Cocaine Bear to me takes itself a little too seriously at times when it's supposed to be this funny movie. I laughed a couple times. It wasn't really like one of the best humor movies I watched. It wasn't. It takes itself too seriously at times, but it shouldn't. Indiana Jones: Dial of Destiny is the next one. And the movie was solid. I think it's better than The Crystal Skull. I don't think it's better than Raiders of the Lost Ark, Last Crusade, and Temple of Doom. I don't think it's better than any of those. For me, it had some problems here and there. I didn't really like Helena, Phoebe's character. I didn't really like her. I didn't really like how they made Indiana Jones this old, depressed man who lost everything after like the good ending the 4th movie had, and I didn't really like the 4th movie. And I liked the ending that they put in there, but then it's just like this movie just ruined it just to bring Marion back at the end. You could see more about my review and my opinion about this movie on Letterboxd. Again, make sure to follow my Letterboxd if you haven't already. This is the entire tier list of all movies I've seen so far in 2023. As long as this video does well, I'll do one later this year or the very beginning of next year for the rest of the movies I'm going to be seeing this year, and of course adjusting any rankings. Hope you guys enjoyed this ranking. Make sure to follow my Letterboxd, link in the description. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell. Have an amazing day. God bless. Jesus loves you, and goodbye.